There are barely no bigger YouTubers talking about Kaspa, and if this doesn't start to change anytime soon, the future for Kaspa is not looking great. Now, I hope that you've prepared with a coffee or something nice to enjoy this video together with, because now, let's jump into the video. I actually got this video idea from a post on the subreddit, so thank you for whoever one of you posted it. And I think that it's very interesting because the post goes on to talk about how a lot of the YouTubers or people on X or Instagram or whatever are not talking about Kaspa, but are talking instead of these like Bittens or Fetch AI, Inject and Sui. And there's most likely a couple of different scenarios as to why this is. And the first scenario might be that they're completely unaware of it. That could be a very real possibility. But still, it is in the top 30, or was in the top 30. We dropped back to, I think it's place 39 now, which is not that great, but you know, it's the game. Anyways, they might just not have heard of it, and that might be why they aren't talking about it. But there could also be the possibility that some of them are actually looking into Kaspa, and that some of them are actually piling up a bunch of Kaspa before they announce it for their viewers. But in my opinion, it really doesn't matter. I'm staying calm because I know that these YouTubers will start to talk about Kaspa once it drastically starts leaving this boring ass zone that we've been staying in for a while now, between 10 cents and 20 cents, just bouncing up, down, up, down, up, down between this 10 cents and 20 cents. And once we eventually break out of this zone, I believe that Kaspa is set for a huge pump to the upside, and that will bring so much more interest to Kaspa, and many of the bigger YouTubers will also start talking more about Kaspa when that happens. I mean, let's just look at the chart of Kaspa. So here's the daily time frame on Kaspa. You can see we saw this like initial pump, or whatever you want to call it, at November in 2023. This is actually where I first got into Kaspa, in this pump. As you can see, we've basically just been bouncing down, up, down, up, down, up in this very tight range, or not really that tight of a range, but it is a substantial range. Here's the box to demonstrate it better. So to my eyes at least, this looks very much like big accumulation is taking place, because sideways action usually means accumulation, and the longer it consolidates, the more severe a pump it will get. That's at least my belief. So of course, I think that this is a perfect opportunity to just accumulate more Kaspa, and it's also interesting to look at the Kaspa lyrics to see which types of wallets are accumulating Kaspa right now, and this maybe also could give you a hint of what the bigger YouTubers are doing, or maybe just people with money or exchanges, whatever. So if we look at the wallets that are holding 1000 Kaspa plus, we can see that it's steadily rising as we go. And when we look at the wallets with 10k Kaspa plus, it's also steadily rising as we go. And 100k Kaspa, it's also rising as we go. But this is where things get interesting, because if we look at the 10 million plus Kaspa, you can see that they accumulate pretty much before every major pump. Like look here, before the November pump that I was just referring to back in the charts, they were accumulating a bunch of Kaspa, and look at what we're seeing up here. So the price has been dropping for the last couple of weeks. It's now slowly starting to regain its price, and you can also see that the bigger wallets are just adding up. There's big accumulation going on. So the bigger money, and probably also the smart money, has been accumulating, as you can see. And this is, I mean, on-chain analytics. They can't make this shit up. And as you can see here, the next reward for mining a block on the Kaspa network will be 73 Kaspa. And the emission schedule on Kaspa suggests that the supply is rapidly decreasing. So when I started buying Kaspa, it was approximately 180 Kaspa, 170 Kaspa per block that the miners got, and now we're already down to 74 Kaspa per mined block. So the inflation of Kaspa is rapidly decreasing month by month, and I think it's very likely to see the supply of Kaspa being so limited to the markets that we might see a supply squeeze, which might be the leg up that will allow Kaspa to leave this boring range between 20 cents and 10 cents and head to new highs. And that is also most likely when most of the bigger YouTubers will start to talk about Kaspa, when they will pick up, recognize it, and shill it to their own audience. I mean, Kaspa was fair launch, there was no pre-mine whatsoever, there is no pre-allocated portion of the supply left to some mysterious investor or a corporation that invested in Kaspa. It's all spread out for the community, the Kaspa tokens, so there's really not a single entity that can push the market price down like 90% and do a rug pull. It's not possible. Of course, there's always a possibility that something could crash, but as for with Kaspa, I think it's highly unlikely. And if we tie that together with the story of the miners getting less and less Kaspa per block they mine, the supply that is being left to the market is being limited day by day, and the supply squeeze coming up, I think that this is a very good range to accumulate and just wait for that leg up. And once that God candle appears, we will all be sipping champagne. Hopefully. Now, it would be wrong to say that every big influential YouTuber is not talking about Kaspa. I guess you've all seen the Vinci Jeremy. This guy, I could pop up a picture. Yeah, so he was the one who told everyone to buy Bitcoin back at, I think it was 2013 when Bitcoin was at $1, and he's now talking about Kaspa once again. I remember he was talking about Kaspa like a year ago or maybe like a couple of months, I really don't remember. But he's actually dropped another short talking about Kaspa, and I mean, just listen to what he has to say.
Many of you guys want to know which cryptocurrency to buy that's similar to Bitcoin when it was in 2013, because you think it's too late to buy Bitcoin. I get that feeling. It's very high. It's $60,000 per coin, and you feel that you want to hold a whole coin and you can't. I understand. Okay, so what cryptocurrency where you can buy it really cheap and see it go higher one day that is fundamentally sound? And I can tell you, Kaspa is one of them. I really think the technology behind Kaspa is unique and is going to work in a cash-based system.
Yeah, just listen to the man himself. He literally told everyone to buy Bitcoin back at 2013 when it was at $1, and now he's referring to Kaspa as being in a similar situation as to what Bitcoin was back in 2013. And back then, he was one of the few YouTubers that were talking about Bitcoin. And just look today, there are endless of channels talking about Bitcoin and crypto and really whatever. And I'm actually in a long in Kaspa right now. I've recently started to trade Kaspa here over on BTCC, which in my opinion is one of the better exchanges. You don't have to do any KYC. You can stay completely anonymous, and it's allowed in the US, the UK, a lot of countries, Germany as well. So if you want to be able to trade Kaspa easily, sign up on BTCC. I think you also get up to $10,000 in bonuses. Sign up on BTCC with the link down below. As you can see, I'm actively trading Kaspa. Now, I actually took a position this morning. I think it was around down here, but I closed that trade off, took some profits, and then I felt like, yeah, this is still a good entry. I'm playing with fairly small amounts of dollars or Kaspa, so I usually put like $500 at 4x leverage or 5x leverage, which means that with my $500 I can get the same exposure as to if I were to hold 13,600 Kaspa. And if I just were to go buy Kaspa on spot using the $500, I think I would get around 3,000 Kaspa. So that's why I like to play with low amounts of leverage, because then I can still absorb a reasonable move to the downside without having to sell or the move hit my liquidation point. If you also want to trade BTCC, click the link down below. I just wanted to keep this video very short and sweet, just talking about what I think, my feelings, putting them out there. And to summarize things up, yes, the big crypto YouTubers aren't talking about Kaspa as of now. Either they're accumulating and waiting for Kaspa to do something, and once they feel like they're done with the accumulation, they might start posting videos about it, or they are just completely ignorant to Kaspa. But I think that they inevitably will start talking about Kaspa once the supply on the markets gets so limited that the supply squeeze is inevitable, and the Kaspa price will just boom to the upside with a god candle, and then the community probably will start talking about Kaspa. More people will jump onto the bandwagon, and and follow the train, and the community will inevitably grow. Now, please leave your own thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want a safe way to store your Kaspa, please order a Tangem wallet using the code Tashi to also save 10% on your purchase. And actually get ready for Black Friday, because between the 28th of November and the 2nd of December, you get a 20% off bonus with my Tangem code during that time period. So take advantage of it. Anyways, we're trying to reach 1000 subscribers on this channel before 2025, so please hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you in the next video.